Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have another idea for the current My Favorite Things sketch challenge. For this card I'm using the Pile on the Hug stamp set, which is one of my favorites from this winter by My Favorite Things. So first of all I have die cut the basic rectangles by Mama Elephant out of Strathmore Bristol Smooth, and I'm using my grid mat to line up this panel so that I can use those lines to get my triangle on my panel. So this is the same technique as I used previously to create this triangle. With the purple tape in place, I can start on the ink blending of my background. And therefore I'm using 4 distress inks. First of all, Forest Moss, then Evergreen Bough, followed by Cracked Pistachio, and then I will try to sort of leave a bit of white in between to end up with weathered wood on the bottom of this triangle. I must admit these colors I haven't actually used Forest Moss and Evergreen Bough together, so therefore I also took the Strathmore Bristol Smooth because your inks stay on top a bit longer, and that's really handy to be able to move the inks around a little longer as well. So I am going back and forth between the colors. Where I can, I'm using the same brush to blend because yeah, I always clean my brushes after I use them, and apparently I have been procrastinating cleaning my brushes, so I had to work with like 2 brushes, but for the gray I need another one. So I'm just going back and forth, and between them I try to also clean off my brush a bit on my piece of paper that I have there. And that's how I am creating this background. When the inks are on there, I will also add some splatters by using the Fawn liquid Stardust. Something that is really handy about Strathmore Bristol Smooth is that it can handle water, so if you want to splatter with whatever on top of it, it will not get ruined, while Nina really cannot handle water, so you really have to be careful with your splatters or whatever you're using for your splatters. But with Strathmore, you're quite safe. So that's handy to know if you don't know which paper you want to start on. Also, the stress inks, the regular ones, aren't that forgiving as the oxides. But with this paper, you can really give it a try. If you have difficulties with blending and you really want to blend with the regular ones, I would recommend this paper. With my background finished, I can now peel off the purple tape, and I must admit I truly adore the transition between the forest moss and the evergreen bough. I think I will use this combination more often. And I also already decided which cute girl I am going to use for this card. But for the coloring, I will keep it quite simple, I think. That's the idea. So I want the girl to be matching with the background, and I just love greens and browns. So I decided to give this little girl a darker skin tone, and I also think it's so matching with the lovely curled hair. I have sleek hair, and I must admit, whenever I see someone with curls, I'm so jealous. It's unbelievable. It's gorgeous. So for today, I'm using one of my favorite darker brown combos for her face, and then I will use some warm grays to color in the hair to really let her shine. Then for the clothes, I think I'm going really Christmassy on this one. So greens that are matching with the background. I didn't want to use like really bright greens because I have a darker green on my background. So I thought that this combination of beachy 96 and yellow green 93 was just perfect. For the coloring, I am using Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper today, and I stamped it out using the Gina K Design Amalgam ink. This ink truly is the one and only for me. If I stamp my images with a black outline. I'm always using Gina K Designs Amalgam ink. This ink works perfectly for Copic markers, but also for water-based mediums like the distress inks, like Zigs. So everything in one ink pad. How handy, how easy. You never pick the wrong one because you only have one. So just wanted to say that if you're new to this hobby and you don't know which ink you should use best, I think it's always handy to have an ink that can handle everything, and this way you're just set up and ready to go. So what you could see here was that I start with my darkest color and then go to my lightest. If I have more than 2 colors to blend, then I just go from darkest towards the lightest one with the midtones in between. But there are many ways to color with your Copic markers. Do what you feel comfortable with. For me, lately, I have always been doing the darkest to the lightest. In the past, I tried to switch in between the different methods to get more use of both. But yeah, lately I just changed that up and I'm always going for the darkest to the lightest, so that's what's been happening. For the red color, I am using 4 colors in the end. RV99, R89, R59 and R37. So for the rest of the coloring, I will put on some music. The hair I did a bit differently. I just sort of scribbled on the hair, changing up the W's that I was using to get some sort of a curly idea going on. So I hope you like it. But it's just trial and error. In my opinion, hair is the most difficult part about critters, or in this case, girls or boys. Yeah, I struggle with it, but you can only learn if you try it. So each time I try something new, and when I will be happy with one of them, I'll keep that one. So I just keep doing that. And then I decided to add a bit more definition to her clothes by adding some pencils as well. So therefore I'm using my Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils. These are the only ones that I have, so I cannot compare it for you with anything else. But it worked for me. I'm glad that I added it. But of course not necessary. It was an addition that I wanted to try and see what it could give. And I think you can slightly see a difference, but it's not like huge or anything. So yeah. Now I will put on some music and I will be back soon. With the coloring done, I used the matching dies to cut her out, and now I'm prepping my card panel to be able to stamp with my Versamark clear embossing ink and add my embossing powder without having too much residue of embossing powder around the sentiment. The embossing powder that I'm using today is from NUVO and is a classic gold. I really love this one. I use it all the time. I'm just dabbing off the excess and then I will heat set this sentiment. I'm adding this little girl using some foam squares onto this panel, and there are some white details on the jacket. I will be adding some Stickles on there, the Stardust, but first I am adding this panel onto my card base. This way I avoid having to press down everything when there is some liquid on there. However, I got my hand into the Stickles, which is of course not what you want to have, but I fixed it in the end. So I added the Stickles, and I was thinking maybe that there could be some stars on this card as well. Not a lot, I didn't want to add too much. I love the background and I love the way the girl ended up, so I didn't want to distract too much of that. So I'm just adding a few little stars. These are the Itty Bitty Stars matte gold from Little Things from Lucy's cards. I adore her sequins. And I'm just gathering them a little bit and then I will add them. Now while I was adding them, I put my hand into the Stickles. So therefore I took the craft knife and I just made sure to push it back to the spot where the Stickles belonged, and that's how I fixed it. So my card is almost finished, and I must admit these sketch challenges, they are truly a challenge, but I enjoy them so much. I don't know who is figuring out these sketches, but they are quite genius. I really enjoyed making them, and I love seeing all the inspiration that everyone is making with the same sketch, and still everything is so different from each other. I love it. So if you are checking this sketch out and you like it, just give it a go, and who knows. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, you can find me by commenting down below, and I will see you back soon. Bye!